cat link because the ghost cat making this movie called Ghost Cat, and there's the IMDB link. You can check it out. So what happens is we write a page for the internet movie database that's called IMDB. If you didn't know, yeah, go check it out. And please, I don't have a GoFundMe account. Just do the little PayPal thing. Whatever you can contribute, $20, $50, $100,000. Yeah, because we're gonna make this movie. But I'm really here to tell you that I truly think that Jussie, if that's his name, I've never heard a name named Jussie. I'm not making fun of people's name. It's Jussie. So you want to be fancy, or it's misspelled, it's Jussie. It just makes it harder. Because you can't talk bad about me because I'm diversity. So that you have to tailor everything or your whims to the diversity agenda. No, that's not the case, because I'm talking against these left-wing fake crimes. Basically, they are fake crimes. Yeah, really. I didn't even think about using that word, but I just did. This Jussie Smollet. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it any better, so not to try to make fun of the name. It just is not easy to pronounce. I never watched a show called Empire. I know that people say, oh, it's a good show or whatever. But I don't jump into conclusion too quickly, because from a point of view of someone who is an outsider, okay? Consider me as an outsider. I was not born in this country, and people that actually are so radically left that accuses me, oh, well, you're not even born in the United States of America, so how come you'll be like for the wall that you don't want these all these illegal coming in the country? Duh. So you have in fact tripped on your own landmine. You have sinned by accusing me, by putting me down, belittling me, because I'm supposed to be the champion of your little diversity scheme. So it is really a scheme. That's what it is. So this fake crime manufactured by this Somalian actor, it's just, even a stupid school child can have a little bit of discernment that on the face value, which is new, in Chicago, it's not a MAGA country. Oh my God, the murder rate is so high because Chicago is run down by this mayor, Emmanuel. I think it's Rahm Emanuel or something like that. I don't know, I don't know all the politicians. I know that for a fact that 88% to 90% of these the Chicago suburb cities, there are not MAGA. By the way, MAGA is Make America Great Again. So don't say that to my face and say, well, you're a supremacist if you're a MAGA. Make America Great Again is what we want to do, because if we don't, then you're making America a shithole. And that's what the left-wing extremists and these fake criminals, their crimes committed, because this guy Smollett hired two actors, and and then he coached them. They rehearsed these. I think they're really big Somalian dudes from the set, like an extra. I mean, I worked on sets before, and you know how it is. There is a cast difference already. If you're on the set, I mean, when I first came to this California, yeah, I was full of those big dreams. I want to be on the set. So you go sign up to be on the set, I mean, on any set, as an extra, meaning you're walking on and you're like part of the background, and you're just not treated well most of the time because you're a moving prop. If you've seen any sets, which like any shows, they're always like, for example, if it's a diner scene, there was people milling around, like eating, ordering food, or in the bar scene, there are people like dancing. They're extras, and their base rate of, I guess, it depends on union, non-union, Non-union is like $50 base rate, and you eat the craft services. Meaning craft services, meaning sometimes they set a different craft service table. It's just like little snacks. So they set shittier stuff for extras, meaning that if you're the cast, you have your own trailer. Well, that's by SAG rule, so that you can go in your trailer, and it's just like, oh wow, come visit me in my trailer, such a big deal. But if you're extra, you're like illegal. You hide down there in a tent somewhere where they set up for you like this until they call you. If you're lucky, you get a bench, a chair, or you get a slap in the butt. So your craft service, meaning that your little table that's set up with probably just pretzels and water, maybe. And the other people, they will have, like, for example, I mean, nothing wrong with it. They will have like 10 different kinds of juices. Sometimes they have naked juice, you know, if you're part of the cast and the crew. Well, the crew is important. I understand that. So the crew gets like the best stuff. You know, they get to go first. And of course, the reason being is that they have to rig the lights and make the set and sound and, you know, do the walkthrough and everything. But I don't know why I talk about so much about extra, but extras usually they're treated as just a moving mouth that gets fed, you know, because they just have to keep you occupied until they get you to walk on the scene in the background. So it's, you know, these two Somalians, they're I don't know how they got here. They're probably, you know, we open the doors to all the Somalian refugees, and we're taking care of them, meaning that we're paying for them to live here at our own expense. And the fact is that they do not assimilate. You know, I'm not talking about these two in particular. I'm just saying this is what happens in a lot of places that have busloads of all these so-called refugees. I mean, it's great to be a refugee nowadays because you automatically get a government subsidy. Means that we will take care of you, even though that we cannot take care of our own, because this is a part of the scheme of the communism, is pretend that everybody is economically equal. And when you know, in fact, by the nature that God created us, that we are created equal, but you have to make your life worthwhile on your own terms. But if you're forcing everybody economically equal, that's what you get. Is Venezuela is evidently people are fighting for a zoo animal and you know, killing each other. So I guess this the Smollet guy hate Trump so much. I mean, this is blind hatred. We come against that. It's an evil spirit in Jesus' name. But it's just so ridiculous that even when you first heard of it, you just go, there's something don't add up. Chicago, you know, this guy goes out like 2 a.m. and in the freezing, frigid cold, try to get some subway stuff. And then somebody hang a noose on him wearing a red mega hat. So I think that subconsciously that these left-wingers, these radical traitors, I call you traitors. If you are for this so-called hate Trump movement and you're into this green movement, you're traitors of this country, because that's not what our founding father has intended this country to be. And I guess what happened is that he hung a noose, or supposedly a noose. Anyway, noose is used in a movie Ghost Cat, but supposedly this is from like back in the slave days or something like that. They try to, you know, depict that there's constantly this noose strangling around the black people's necks, like we're wanting to enslave them. I mean, this is a joke. It's actually, I think it's a prank that gone so far, but it's not a prank, because this person, he is so blinded, this smaller guy, so blinded for this hatred for Donald Trump, that he wants to depict all these Trump supporters, they were racist and, we're like, what is it? I don't even know the terms that we want to kill them all. But in fact, the media ran along with it and didn't even apologize. You damn fucking media. What about those, remember, there was a poor kid that had Down syndrome and he was disabled and he was kidnapped by these 4 guys, the poor white kid. Could not defend himself. And then they said that you are a Trump supporter. They put a MAGA hat and dip his head in the toilet. They tortured him and they put it on the Facebook. And what about that? People don't talk about that. So you fucking screw up media, CNN, MSNBC, you can all go to hell. Because you're falsifying what's truly happening in the United States of America, and I'm trying to bring divisions among races, and this is what I hate. I mean, if this is such a racist country, why do you have everybody from the world pouring into this country? If you go to Japan, you go to Singapore, you go to China, you don't see colonization of white people. Do you get it? There is no colonization. But here, in the name of diversity, we have Chinatown. Now, I understand it's a little historical side, but now you have every town, everybody, little Nigerian, Japan. So they're occupying this land. And Chinatown doesn't just stop right downtown. It extends now all the way through East LA and all the way through Monterey Park. And it's now Diamond Bar, because you know what? They flying in here and they do not leave. You had a whole fucking China landed on your fucking doorstep, colonizing California. And you better fucking wake up, build that fucking wall. So why do we need chai cum here? Every little corner. I mean, sure, it's convenient for me because I like Chinese food. But, I don't glorify the fact that every place I am actually ashamed. I am so ashamed. Their propaganda fucking newspaper called the World Journal and force feed my mother into hating Trump. Every headline and every picture is to make Trump look bad. And poor woman, I mean, God bless her. she's still alive and everything. The irony is this woman, I'm talking about my mother, even though she ditched me when I was 4, meaning she abandoned me in a total different country, by the grace of God, I suppose. Anyway, she was trying to commit suicide, but she ended up, because her and my dad did not get along, and poverty and everything in the little village of China. She ended up in Africa, in the United States of America, as a nurse and part of the nursing force, the nurse team. And then she got accepted into Loma Linda, the school that trained her to be a X-ray technician or what have you. What I'm saying is, instead of being grateful to the United States of America, of course, in the end, I guess I got my green card not willingly. I did not want to be here, but I was just being thrown around because nobody wanted me. I was like, in fact, supposedly be aborted. Because the first thing, I landed in the LAX, the airport, that my mother said, and now this is when I was so young and tender age, I was scared shitless, but she said I should have been aborted. Why you come here and bug me? I now understand, because she just got married to a Chi-Com who actually hated my guts and tried to kill me and made me wander around the streets for 10 fucking years. Anyway, so with that said, I'm just like, I cannot figure out this country, the United States of America, is so gracious, so generous. You can never have that anywhere else. Try to go to China and say, well, I want every sign to be white people, American English in this little particular area, colonize them and have them give you a living wage. Like here, I guess, I don't know exactly what they get. They have this assistance of not just the food stamps, they actually pay somebody to, because you're, I guess, the senior citizen, that's what we want, right? All the senior fucking citizens from fucking China to come live off us. They get paid a ration, for some kind of servants. So I suppose they come a few times a week, clean and cook for them. Oh, all right, so that's paid for by the government. Why do you think the fucking California people are all on the streets? Because they increase this tax on our backs. They fucking fleece you if you earn any money. Don't tell me that they try to take the money from the rich. You are fucking rich. If you get $1, you go spend $1 in the store, you are fucking rich. That's why we cannot afford to buy anything, because everything is stolen. Stolen by these California fucking Democrats. Get off me. Get off us on my ass. Get off taxing us to death. All right. I know I'm yelling and everything, but, whatever. I'm supposed to... I don't even ask. Supposed to try to clean my room a little bit, but I just got so upset about the Smollet thing. I don't know the details, but it's really coming clearer and clearer, that fucking hatred. I'm talking about you, fucking CNN, fucking hatred for America, hatred for Donald Trump, have entrenched so much at first that they were so rejoicing. This Cory Booker, the Democrats, and Kamala Harris, the fucking serpents, witches. Right away they said this is they try to pass a lynching law. Can you believe that? All based on false accusation. And this guy staged a whole fucking thing. He actually paid the Smollet guy, the actor, pay these two Somalian extras. They're big dudes. I just saw a quick Twitter shots of them. These are big motherfucking dudes. They're pretty scary looking. And they just went back to Somalia. I don't know where their relations. People they have no affinity for the United States of America, but they love to take advantage of you. Yeah, I would. I could hate you, but they don't really kiss your ass. If I get myself a sugar daddy, to just say, at least I have to be nice to them. At least get them some affection, right? But there's no such thing. They hate us. Why they take our money? It was the same thing. I just don't get it. In Hawaii, when I was living in Hawaii, all these Hawaii, they're the Hawaiian nationalists. I am for the United States of America. But those people, they're saying, the invasion of the palace was illegal because Bill Clinton apologized for, I suppose there was the one incident which they felt like the Hawaiian Empire was taken, was subdued. Well, this is called conquer. Conquer. The strongest survive. So the fact is they hate us so much, they tried to beat up the haoles, the white people or visitors in Hawaii. I was married to a haole. That's how I become a New England fan, because I was married to a chowderhead. How easy is that to figure it out, right? People say, well, you don't look like you could be a New England Patriot fan. No, I don't look like a lot of shit. But in fact, that does not stop me from being a New England Patriots fan and not jumping on the fucking bandwagon. I was a fan way before that you even knew it. Anyways, so that's besides the point. The thing is, then they hate the Hawaiians that hate so much of the haoles. They call them haoles, which they say, it just means that you're white people. Or if you're with a white person, you're haole. So it's very discriminatory. It's like calling us Negroes and the niggers or whatever. But they got away with it. They just call, hey, haole. Why did they get away with that shit? I don't know. And they fucking beat us up because we're in the Kauai, and then they fucking put a stone rock through the rental car and stole our gear. This is how bad it is, because they have no respect for our country. That's what happens when people that you're allowing to flood in and take over. It's not like they have to kiss ass, suck up to you anymore. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say, I'm just saying very basically, right? Because you can look at me, you go, she must have a sugar daddy or whatever. In fact, that I don't. Well, thank Jesus. I don't think that I can really fit the bill, because I have such a temper, right? The first time I start yelling and screaming, I'll be like, out! I can laugh at myself. But for sure, I'm just saying this is wrong, that we're taking care of these people and their father, their grandmother. I'm not saying that they're bad people, but I was in Chino. Chino is all the way past Covina, past it's just the invasion of the Chi-Com is It's like the locust descended upon California. So where your eyes can land, it's all Chinese signs. And they have driven every Ralph's out of the area. It's all like ranch, Chinese ranch market, Chinese whatever, 16A. Or they're Vietnamese, Thai, I give you that much. But it's dominated by Chi-cum. You had the whole fucking China here. And since now the California is called a sanctuary state, you cannot get rid of them. So you're stuck. And then they have this... what do you call the chain migration? They bring in their whole fucking family, leeching off the system. How do you think we're going to survive? We cannot. That's why they don't want to show it to you. It is a shame that fucking people are dying on the streets of homelessness because we're driven out. Because they don't speak the language. They just get their fucking check. You get it, right? You get it why I'm mad, right? So I couldn't believe, and then force feed them this propaganda. And not only that, they teach them, they give them translators on our dime. Translators, so they never have to, there's just laziness. You don't never have to learn to speak English because they will give you Laotian, they will give you a translator that speak your language on our dime so that you can file for money, for a so-called assistance. And, this is really gone crazy. Assistance supposed to be temporary, but they don't get off. So imagine we take care of their grandmother, their grandfather, pay their bills, because the medical bills, see what happens? Great tax dollars at work. Imagine that if every time you call the ambulance, you get charged $10,000, but supposedly on the border, they just come in and charge $100,000, and the fucking lying media, I call them Mafias, by saying, oh, you're letting them die. Don't fucking come. Build that fucking wall. Don't come here. We don't want to give them a fucking incentive. And so Donald Trump is exaggerating. No. You know what? It hurts me personally. I was watching The Christmas Story. I watched it so many times and we were so happy, and I was telling my friend how great is the director that he used one single shot in the very end that got us like laughing for days. And then we look him up, Bob Clark, you can look it up, 2007, he was killed by an illegal alien. So what happens? The hundreds of thousands of them deported like 3-4 times, meaning that you spend $100,000 buying plane tickets, send them to Guatemala, where the fuck they came from, and they come right back because there is no justice, right? You have to pay for it. There is no justice. We just keep paying money like fucking bleeding right and left, bleeding out of our left ventricles. So we're dying here. We are dying here. We need to build that fucking wall in the damn fucking 16 states. You stop your bullshit. And the Somali people like that. That is very damnable. That is so damnable. Because even the word says that, if you make these kind of false witnesses, then you're evil. You're basically going to hell. And not only that, you're trying to stir up this hatred, this racial hatred. So my point of view is, even as somebody who was not born in the United States, and I just see how generous the people that opened their arms, to so many foreigners, but it's to their own harm. That goes back to the point that Donald Trump was reciting about the snake. Little snakes say, oh, take me in. And then once he gets warm, the little snake just bite you and fucking, put poison over you and you die. And then why do you do that? I take care of you. Oh, why? Because I'm a snake. Well, this is what happens. They come in the phony pretenses like, oh, everybody signed up for so-called a refugee or whatever. And then you have George Soros funding these lawyers that hates America. There's so many people who hate America. They will volunteer in their language, and they don't volunteer. Of course, Soros paid for them to file for the status. That's why they have backlog. Why do you think we need to hire 500,000 judges? Do you want to spend money to legalize them so you can feed them, clothe them for the rest of their lives, and while they give you transmittable diseases and bring in drugs? I mean, these are very violent people. Just ask yourself, will you climb into your neighbor's wall? Now, I don't know. For any reason, maybe pluck a flower you like. I mean, I thought about it. I saw the next door had a very nice cactus firm, or it gives out these fruits, Nepal fruits. I would like to go and get them, but I would, I thought it over. I say it's easier for me to drive by and just reach in with a glove and then grab them. But I thought it over. I said, you know what? I better just go knock on the door. If I don't knock on the door, I just, I say forget it. So if you and I were not that bold to climb over people's walls, but these people, they could. And that means that they are bad people. Okay? And the Smollet guy, he's very bad person. And that just shows you that how much hatred they just want to stir up there. They even fake it so that even the Covenant kid, because he was wearing MAGA hat, as you get my MAGA hat, Make America Great hat, and then immediately he's condemned, he's a racist. And this is why that we have to fight back. Because there's nothing wrong with Make America Great again, but there's everything wrong with you who hates those who wants to make our country great again, instead of you want us to be on the streets of Venezuela and eating fucking animals. So I'm really disgusted, and you know what's happening with this Somali, and it's all over the country. That's why Obama was stirring up the Black Lives Matter. They're stirring up this hatred by saying that white people are mean, white people are nasty, and even white people believe it. I can't tell you how much they hate us, and they fire all the professors in the colleges that are patriotic. So they resist them. The faculty only hires people that are communists. And you know what communists does? Is communism make a bunch of promises, but they just take whatever you have, so-called in the name of redistribution, and you end up having nothing. You're lucky that, if we're going to end up flow down the streets and try to beg for a loaf of bread. So this is what happens, and now they don't want to talk about it. So with Smollet, and this is disgusting, where he faked the attack. He paid somebody. There's just so much hatred. I'm telling you that you have to stop hating Trump, and that's the only way that you can be saved, and stop hating those who are called and saved by the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's all.